Hey, we are live again, and I'm here with the man himself, Mr. Martin Ford, who we've just found lurking around outside,
hiding in a bivvy,
trying to get some peace and quiet. Now, if you don't know Martin's been involved with carp fishing for as long as.
I wouldn't even like to say that. It's been a long time.
It's been a while, yeah. And over that time, you've done everything from selling tackle to marketing tackle, and you've been involved with magazines and
product development, magazine editorships, everything. I mean, carp fishing's been my life for the last at least 25-30 years.
So in 25-30 years, you see a fair amount of gear, you see people come and go. What magazines have you been involved with? So the guys.
I worked for a company called EMAP many years ago, which I think is now called Bauer Publishing, and I started on Improved Course Fishing, believe it or not. Used to do the questions with John Wilson.
Yeah.
Bless him. Yeah. Moved on from there, went to DHP and edited Advanced Carp Fishing,
yep.
and got heavily involved in carp fishing at that stage.
Yep.
I think I changed the rhetoric there really, because I wasn't office based and I demanded to work out on the bank. So I've worked with Terry Hearn, Lee Jackson, Dave Lane. I mean all the top end carp anglers that people will remember know today, and obviously a lot of them still doing it.
Yeah.
So exciting times, really exciting times. Moved from there to Carp World, Crafty Carper, International Carper. And then kind of magazines started dying a little bit when social media started really ramping it up. Why read a mag when you can get everything on your phone free? Was kind of the thought, I think, with a lot of people. Luckily there are still two good mags about today, which serve a purpose maybe for the slightly older generation like myself, but the youngsters nowadays, it's all on phone and tablet.
So just out of interest, for you guys from our Avengers group watching right now, who actually still gets a magazine subscription, like a physical magazine that you would get from the news agents or wherever, just comment down below, let us know. But Martin's had a very, very interesting career in naming some of those anglers there. Obviously we're on hallowed ground right now.
Wraysbury won, it's fantastic. And I've got a young lad with me who's never fished Wraysbury before in his life. I think he's 25, one of our carp team. And it was always his dream to come here, and he's actually caught 2 carp. Now I know it's not the same as it was all those years ago, and when I look back at the trade, or I look back at carp fishing in general, what I see happening here now with the fantastic job they've done with this site, they've spent an absolute fortune here, is they're recreating that history again for this next generation. The 22 pound carp he caught yesterday, you'll be able to take home a nice photograph of, put it on the wall, and maybe, just maybe, in 25 years time, when he's a little bit older and he's sat there, somebody will have written a book just like they did 25 years ago, and he'll be looking at that fish that he caught, and I think that's a great thing. It goes on.
And when you're obviously involved in publishing, and you're involved in putting other people's thoughts and experiences into words, there's certain ways of doing that, isn't there? What's some of the most notable things that you've put into print over the years? If you could pick something out of the millions of things that you've done.
I think one of the best things I ever wrote, and slightly stepping away from the magazines, was while I was on Advanced Carp Fishing, I trailed Lee Jackson on the brook, Conning Brook, with his search for the big fish at the time. It became a British record. And to watch somebody's personal fishing, because it really was personal. Like, there are a lot of people on there, but Lee was just so focused, and I've seen that with a lot of anglers I've worked with. Like, you don't get that good unless you're really, really tuned into it. The water, the venue, the way to approach it, the actual approach itself, like the amount of time you spend there, the amount of time you don't spend there. Like, there's a lot of thought goes into catching these big fish. I know there's a lot of lads out there now that want to be, big fish anglers. It takes a certain mentality to do that, and there aren't that many that I've met over the years that have actually got that.
What makes that? What is that mentality? If we could, when the plane's gone over, if we could bottle that mentality, what would be the 3 key ingredients to big carp success?
I think the key to all of it, the real key, is discipline. The one key word is, without doubt, discipline. You have got to, you can do 2 things. You can make yourself get up in the morning at 4 o'clock and watch the water, or you can want to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the water. wanting to be up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the water is a discipline. Yeah. Making yourself get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch the water is something you have to think about. It's not a natural thing. You know, you fight with yourself to do that. You know, and these guys, like I say, the Lanes of the world, the Chilcotts, the Hearns, the Jacksons, you know, they're able to do this on any water they've been to or gone to. They just plug into that one fish. Terry Hearn is an example. I don't think I've ever seen a more dedicated angler that gets to understand his quarry in the way that he does. He will spend months watching it, tracking it, following it, baiting areas, watching reactions, results and everything else before he even puts a rod in the water. That's what makes a good angler.
And do you think with how angling's expanded and there's more anglers now than what there perhaps was, and everyone's accessible, you know, back in the day you'd be lucky if you could find somewhere that stocked some of this stuff. Now there's shops all over the place. Do you think we've lost some of that ingredients, some of those necessary things to actually go out there and do it? Do you think, where do you think we're at, or do you think things are even better now? I don't know what your...
I think for today's angler that the amount of tackle that's available and the amount of knowledge that's easily accessible on, certainly on the internet, I think it's a wonderful thing, because I think it gives them an instant access, but equally I think it takes away a lot of the essential learning. When I was a 6-7 year old, I think I started fishing on a trout stream in Yorkshire, and then I caught little perch from a farm pond, and then roach fishing, and then eels, and then a bit of match fishing, sea fishing, fly fishing. You learn a skill and you progress through certain steps. It's so easy nowadays, and I have my own lake near Sheffield, and I run a syndicate on there. I've got lads from all walks of life at the end of the day who fish there, and they all do it for their own individual different reasons. I've got guys that have got top end gear, I've got guys that have got gear from 10 years ago. You know, that's their fix. The way they do it is nobody else's business. I think, it's grown, you know, it's changed, and standing here as old as I am now, and people of my age, I suppose we like to appreciate and still look back and hold on to the, you know, what was sort of thing. But life changes, and if you don't move with it, you can get stuck. And I'll tell you, an angler years ago, Ken Townley, some of your viewers might know him, others might not. He said a key word in a feature that I did with him, and it is KISS, KISS, and it's called Keep It Simple Stupid, Don't confuse it. And the lads on my lake, I say to them, like, just don't confuse it. The issue with having so much information available is that you can to a degree saturate too much and just lose the plot. I've watched people walk away from lakes because they just can't deal with it anymore, because they've just tried to do too many things.
Without a doubt.
Keep it simple.
So very good advice there from Martin. Keep it simple. We're going to talk a little bit now about what are you currently doing at Sonik.
What am I currently doing? I'm working my nuts off.
Ian's working him hard. But we have just seen a few of the items, and we want to show you guys. Ian's just touched on this a little bit as well. Some of the new clothing that's coming out, and Martin's actually behind some of this stuff. So your role at Sonik right now, you're doing marketing,
I'm the marketing manager,
promotion.
For UK and for Europe. So I'm responsible for the social media, the promotion, catalogues, anything visual basically at the end of the day. But my background in carp fishing has enabled me to be also involved in certain elements of the product development in a few areas. Clothing being one of them.
Let's have a look at. We've picked one of the camo jackets and a camo cap. Martin's going to talk a little bit about this. What I'll actually do is I'll flick the camera around you guys, and then I can sort of make sure we are on target. He's not a hat wearer. It suits you. Kirsty's asking, do we do ladies' clothing?
We don't do ladies' clothing, Kirsty, but we are going to do small sizes, because ladies like yourself, who deserve to have decent carp clothing, keep asking us to do small. So we will do some small sizes.
So smaller sizes coming soon. Let the bloody plane fly over. Let's talk about this jacket and the cap and a little bit more about the range before we go and find James and we go and look at some even more cool stuff.
Very, very quickly then, Sonik for many years as a brand has just had a clothing range which we have co-branded with other firms. We've grown to such an extent now that it's really important for us to have our own identity, so we've gone to a clothing specialist and we've asked that particular company to come up with a concept and a clothing range which represents Sonik, you know, in a better light, I suppose, at the end of the day. So this is just one example of what we will be putting out next March.
So March, you guys.
Till March, yeah. I've only got one of these, and everybody wants it. So this is a lightweight camo jacket. Now, if you can just very quickly just spot on the two camo bibbies, yeah, there's a great similarity in the camo pattern there.
Yeah,
it is the same pattern.
See that very well.
Yeah. So it's an ultra lightweight jacket, yeah. Sealed waterproof pockets, yeah. Nice rubberized badges, logos, yeah. Little hood retainer, little logo on the back, yeah. Lockdown sleeves, another little logo there, yeah. It's a top. I mean, even at my age, I'd still wear that on the bank.
It is very, very nice.
It made me look very cool when I tried it on, Danny. I wanted to keep it, but they won't let me.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. I've got another one that you guys have seen last night as well. But the new clothing range is looking very cool, right?
Yeah, it's super cool. You know, there's not that much in it. It's a polo shirt, it's a t-shirt. There's some very cool joggers. I remember walking into a high street shop a few months ago to buy a pair of jeans, and everything's that skinny fit.
Yeah.
These are very similar to that, and I can actually get these on and get away with it. Like, I mean, they are ultra cool. They're just designed really well, like, and it's good material, and they are at an exceptionally good, fair price.
So we've not got this cap, obviously. This is coming out in March.
That comes out in March.
But we do have a bunch of Sonik caps, and everybody loves a Sonik cap.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments if you've got a Sonik cap. If not, we might have a way for you to win a Sonik cap. I've got some caps back in the bivvy, so make sure you tune into the other show at 5 o'clock later on this afternoon in the main group, where we are going to be giving away a big bunch of stuff. But Martin's involved in the marketing, so make sure you use hashtags when you're using your Sonik gear and you're catching fish on it.
Definitely. Send us your pictures. Yeah.
Send your pictures using your Sonik stuff, or you just your captures. You've been out and caught one.
Send us your captures. If you're using Sonik gear, you can always send them to media@sonicsports.com. Yeah.
Yep, and obviously the usual, the YouTube, the Instagram, the Facebook. Do you do anything like TikToks or anything like that stuff?
We're getting there. Using TikTok now in Belgium. I mean, obviously we have social media platforms now all across Europe. So what we push out into the UK very often gets repeated through Italy, Spain, Germany, France, etc. But they also generate their own material as well. So you could find yourself, like, you know, catching a decent fish and end up on YouTube or a Facebook post in Italy or somewhere like that.
So Italy, Belgium,
Holland, France, I mean Benelux as a whole, Spain, Germany, Czechoslovakia.
And it's not dissimilar, the style of angling over there. It's a little bit bigger waters really. In some respects, but it does often put people off.
Yeah, I mean, we've just spent 3 weeks at Catalov for our European trade show. And I'll be honest with you, the Catalov lake is very similar to Wraysbury. Yeah. The fish are of a similar size. I think the fish went to about 50 pound. It's no different really to the English style of fishing, and a lot of carp fishing tackle methods, ideas usually end up being generated here in the UK and then just fan themselves out across. It's not till you get on the big waters like Medine, Cassian and places that you need to survive.
I think that's what scares people to death. But with and you can see some of the sort of more Euro style pods in the background over there. We're gonna have a look at some of this stuff with James, who's just getting a breather in the background. There's loads of gear to have a look at, but from Martin's perspective, make sure you use the hashtags and you follow them on social media. If you want to send your pictures in, feel free. I know if you want to leave any comments or questions or anything on this live, we'll try and get those over to the guys, see if they can actually answer any of your specific questions. But what, in terms of the future, Martin, now that you're behind it and you've got this purpose and vision and you've got all this experience and all the things that you've done over your angling career, what is the sort of future looking like for Sonik in your mind?
I think the future's looking great. I mean, I was with Sonik to think back now, 10 years ago. Sonik started 13, 14 years ago. I was with him 10 years ago. I was actually selling products to guys like yourself, the retailers. And at that stage, we're all going to Barbados.
Is a bigger
so I was selling at that stage, you know, so I was more in touch with the retailer. Obviously my background on the magazines, journalism, etc. Like, I've come back in a marketing role with that, you know, sort of like inclusion in the product development as well. As a company now, I think Sonic's really established itself. Like, you know, they produce and continue to produce top quality kit at a very, very reasonable price. And if I walked around fisheries around Middle England, where I used to sort of like live, I would hardly see a Sonik rod. Everywhere I go now across fisheries across the UK, I'm seeing Sonik gear everywhere, like, you know. So yeah, and I believe there's more growth. More and more people have come into it. I think COVID has taught people, families that perhaps didn't go fishing or had gear at home, and then all of a sudden had nothing to do but had to be together. They've all gone out and started again. So we've seen a resurrection for, you know, with some people. So yeah, I just think there's more growth, there's more fisheries, it's more accessible, you know?
So the future is definitely bright for Sonik. Martin is a wealth of knowledge and information and all this experience and stuff. Hopefully we can pick his brains a bit more if you leave some questions and comments before we do go, before they ply me with too much more beer. Big shout out to Shiv, who's watching and manning the fort back at home. We are getting a lot out of this event. We're going to go and find James in a second and look at some more new stuff, but we're just going to say a big thanks to Martin.
You're very welcome.
Look out for the clothing, you guys. As soon as it comes into stock, we'll make sure we order a big bunch of it so you guys get access to that. We're going to give away some caps and stuff later on around 5 o'clock on the main group live. Might be a little bit later. I'll close this live off now so you can watch it on the replay, and then literally 5 minutes time we're going to look at some of the new alarms and other bits and pieces, and then we're going to go back to the swim and see who's fishing, and we'll do some more fun stuff later on. Sound like a plan? Big thanks to Martin.
Remember, keep it simple.
Keep it simple, you guys. I'll see you on the next live. Bye bye.